Hi everyone, it's Jana here. Hi MCI family and everyone else who has tuned in. Welcome to MCI Chapel, which I am leading today from the coolest room in my home, which is my 5.5-year-old son's room, as you can see by Mario, Luigi, Bullet Bill, etc. on the back. I'm also sitting on a very cool blue car bed right now. So yeah, I'm in the coolest room in my house to talk to you about peace today. I want to talk about peace. My son, there's a reason for being in this room other than that it's cool. My son, who, like his parents before him, is somebody who suffers from having nightmares. He has really for a long time, probably about once or twice a week, he, in the middle of the night, either will call for us from his bed here, or he will burst into our room, whipping the door open, bursting in like a rocket, coming to tell us he had a bad dream and that he needs us. And all he wants us to do is to come back into his room with him and to sit in the rocking chair in the corner and just be there for a little while he calms down, while he waits to fall asleep again. It just seems like our presence, we don't have to say anything, we don't really have to do anything, but just our presence of being here in his room with him seems to comfort him and seems to bring him enough peace that he can fall back asleep and have a good night's sleep for the rest of the night. In life in general, and especially right now, I have a lot of worries. I'm a big worrier. I have a lot of anxieties. Spend a lot of time up myself in the middle of the night thinking about things, worrying about things. And I feel like now more than ever, maybe there's really specific and really real worries that are happening. And it can be really easy to give into these anxieties, to give into these fears. But I have found peace in trusting, like my son trusts that my husband or I are here with him. I have found peace in trusting that God is there, that God is here with me, that God is present. And if God is here with me and present with me, God is with you and present with you wherever you are. Whether you're in Morden or LaSalle or Mexico or Winnipeg, wherever you are right now, whether you're in a cool Mario room or maybe, the family room, wherever you are, God is with you always. And that is something that brings me peace, even in times of uncertainty. It's just trusting, knowing, and believing that God is here. God is with me. And it makes me think of a verse that I've been holding very closely to, holding close to my heart these last couple of weeks. And it kind of speaks to this piece of God's presence with us. And so I'm going to read it. It's from 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 16. And it says, "Now may the Lord of peace give you peace at all times and in all ways. The Lord be with all of you." I'll read it again. "Now may the Lord of peace give you peace at all times and in all ways. The Lord be with all of you." God is with all of us. And I think that's something that is easy to know here, to be like, oh yeah, God is everywhere. God is with me, he's with you, he's everywhere. But I think that's a harder thing to fully know and understand here, to have that heart knowledge and belief that God is with us at all times, wherever we are. And so something that assures my heart of this truth when things are hard is by intentionally inviting God in, inviting God to be with me. God is always there, but if I'm feeling unsure or I'm feeling worried, I'm pausing to be intentional to invite God to be with me and to be everywhere around me, not just somewhere in the void, but to be everywhere around me, surrounding me. And one of the ways that in the last probably 10 years that I have found practice to do this is something called the body prayer. And it was taught to me by my friend Kevin Campen, who is actually a staff member at Westgate Collegiate. Shout out to Kevin, shout out to Westgate. And it's called the body prayer. And what it does is it invites God into every part of your life. And it's very thorough, which I really appreciate. It's something I can do in the night when I can't fall asleep. I find it relaxing to focus on each part like that and invite God in. And there's actions to it, which I'm going to do because I think the actions help keep you on track. So I'm just going to show you what the body prayer is like. So it's doing actions and saying words, inviting God to be very complete in us. So we start here with our heads. We say, God be in my head and in my understanding. Makes sense to invite God into our minds. This is where all the messy stuff is usually happening. So we say, God be in my head and in my understanding. You move down to your ears and you put your hands over your ears and you say, God be in my ears and in my hearing. We get a lot of messages, I think, sent to us, inviting God to be in our ears to help filter out some of those messages. Super important. Then you cover your eyes. I have glasses, so it's hard. You say, God be in my eyes and in my seeing. Inviting God to open our eyes, maybe to see others the way he sees them, to see places where people have needs, to see where God is and where God is working around us. So God be in my eyes and in my seeing. Then you put your hands over your mouth. I'll put them beside so I don't muffle my mouth. And say, God be in my mouth and in my speaking. Super important. Our words have so much significance and meaning. Knowing when to speak, when not to speak, knowing what to say, asking God for the right words. Sometimes when we speak, super important. God be in my mouth and in my speaking. Hands on your heart. God be in my heart and in my loving. And my prayer always, every day, is that God fills my heart with so much love that it can't help but overflow out of me onto others, because I can't love well enough by myself. I need God's love in me to overflow out of others. So that's God be in my heart and in my loving. God be in my hands and in my serving. God, show me where I can serve. Show me the needs of others so that I can serve them well. Help me serve joyfully and selflessly. And then finally, God be in my feet and in my going. Now, we're not really going many places these days, but I think about that in a lifelong journey of life, knowing that God is with me wherever I go, asking God to direct me, to guide me down the right path. Yeah, God be in my feet and in my going. So without all the blah, blah, blah in between, this is what it kind of looks like. And you can just repeat it a few times through all the parts, or so you memorize it, or you can do it slowly, kind of like I did with breaks in between to, really pause and reflect on these different areas of your life that you're inviting God into. But for the sake of this video and for chapel, let's just go through just twice in a row, quick, through all the parts. So here we go. Let's pray together. We say, God be in my mind and in my understanding. God be in my ears and in my hearing. God be in my eyes and in my seeing. God be in my mouth and in my speaking. God be in my heart and in my loving. God be in my hands and in my serving. God be in my feet and in my going. God be in my head and in my understanding. God be in my ears and in my hearing. God be in my eyes and in my seeing. God be in my mouth and in my speaking. God be in my heart and in my loving. God be in my hands and in my serving. God be in my feet and in my going. So that's just something that I have integrated into my own life as a way to ask God, really invite God intentionally to be with me. And through inviting God into all those areas, I do walk, I think, with a sense of peace and a sense of confidence that I didn't have before. Just really knowing and trusting, not just here, but here, that God goes with me. I really wanted to make it through this chapel without singing for your sake. But really, I thought the best way to end this time together was through song. When we sing truths, it really does something. It actually alters our brain to help us really remember and absorb these truths. And so there is a song that is perfect, I think, that reminds us of the same thing that our verse reminded us of God's presence with us, with you, in all times and in all ways, just like the verse says. And the song is called Peace Before Us. It is from the wonderful Purple Sing the Storybook. It is written by David Haas. And I'm going to sing the first few verses. And if you know it, please sing along. It goes, peace before us, peace behind us, peace under our feet. Peace within us, peace over us, let all around us be peace. Love before us, love behind us, love under our feet. Love within us, love over us, let all around us be love. Light before us, light behind us, light under our feet. Light within us, light over us, let all around us be light. Christ before us, Christ behind us, Christ under our feet. Christ within us, Christ over us, let all around us be Christ. And so, may peace, love, light, and Christ be before you, behind you, under you, within you, over you, and all around you. And may you know and trust that God is there with you. I hope that you're having a great time wherever you are. Know that you're so loved and you're so missed. And yeah, take care. Bye.